Alright, so this part of the educational series, I'm going to go over everything that I would have gone over with you when you come and pick up your kitten. That way, by viewing this video ahead of time, you will be able to come pick up your kitten immediately, and you won't have to sit an hour at my house while you really want to get home with your kitten. So, plus you can come back to this video as many times as you want, just in case you forget something and need a refresher. So the first thing that we're going to do is go over what is, Dazzle, move. What is in your kitten care package? Get out of here. Get out of here. Oops. So, kitten care package. Let's pull it all out. Let's take a look at all the goodies that you're going to get. Okay? Alright. So part of this kitten care package, you are going to get a health record. Your health record is going to consist of a lot of important information that you're going to need to keep so that you can hand it to your vet. It's also important for you to keep because this is your proof that they're receiving vaccines from you. You do not need to bring them to a vet to get a vaccine done. The only vaccine that is required by law is the rabies vaccine, which is a prescription that needs to be administered by a vet. Otherwise, all other vaccines do not require a prescription. You can administer them at home. Now, please keep in mind, vets are a business. They're going to try to talk you into using their vaccines, obviously. So this is what your feline health record is going to look like. It's going to have your information and the information of the kitten, and you're going to have a list of when they were dewormed and what they were dewormed with. So we have a new aggressive deworming protocol that has been shown to basically not lower, but actually eliminate all the worms that a cat may have. Now, as part of this deworming protocol, you too are going to be required to deworm your kitten at home, which means you're going to need to write the dates that you dewormed your kitten. With this new deworming protocol, it is a higher quality dewormer that is going to encompass a lot more than the dewormer that most vets use, and it's going to be given over 3 days, which helps to ensure that it definitely gets through the system. So here is the dewormer. You're going to have on it a record of when you need to administer it. So you can write this on your calendar when you get home. You're going to see these dates multiple times. This is what it's going to look like. There's going to be 3 syringes for when they're 12 weeks and 3 syringes when they're going to be 16 weeks. And these are oral syringes. They go into the mouth. They do not require refrigeration. There will be 2 amounts because they're going to be expected to be different ages. The first series should be the 0.7 milliliters one to be given at 12 weeks, and the second series at the bottom will be the 0.9, and those directions are clearly stated right there. So you shouldn't have any problem figuring that out. Along with the dewormer, you are going to need to vaccinate them. So you're going to get this little baggie. Again, the dates and the instructions are going to be right here. You're also going to get an instruction sheet right in your baggie with your vaccines. You're going to be given 2 vaccines, and they actually come in a liquid vial and a powder vial for 1 vaccine. You're going to want to pour the liquid into the powder, because think about it, if you pour the powder in, the powder's going everywhere. So you pour the liquid in, you cap it, and then you're going to mix it together by gently rolling it between 2 hands. This way you are not creating bubbles. Now please do keep in mind that these vaccines do need to stay cold. They need to stay refrigerated, and it's right on the bag. It needs to be refrigerated. I can't stress that enough. This is why you're bringing a cooler to pick up your kitten, so it can stay cold. Once it's mixed, you're going to have a pipette. You're going to suction it up into the pipette, and you're going to apply half in each nostril. Now, you can do this by scruffing the kitten, grabbing the extra skin at the back of the neck, and holding them while you do this. Keep in mind, they're going to hate this. Their noses are tiny. It's not going to be super easy, but the advantages of doing this are several. And you know, you're shoving a liquid up their nose, so they're gonna sneeze. They're gonna, you know, not like it. So some of the benefits that you'll get from doing this is, well, you get to do this at home, and you don't need to go to a vet. And the other benefit is also that there's something called injection site carcinoma. It's a fancy way of saying that a cancer that was caused specifically because a vaccine was injected underneath the skin, which causes irritation and cancer. So by doing it in the nose, you are lowering the ability of that, you're lowering the chances of that happening. A lot of research has shown, old school thinking, you need to revaccinate every 3 years. New school thinking, these 3 series of vaccines that they're going to get provide lifelong immunity. So before you revaccinate any time in the future, do a titer test. That will make sure they still have the immunity. Otherwise, don't revaccinate. You don't want to increase the chances of complications. Now, risk factors and complications will include the fact that you're giving them a live vaccine that should activate the immune system. This means they may have a fever. This fever will be, they'll sleep more, they'll eat less while they're going through this. It should last only 1 or 2 days maximum. If they're still acting like they're tired all the time and they're not eating after 2 days, that is when you need to start considering going to the vet. The other issue is that because you're challenging the immune system. If there is any opportunistic cold around, that cold may try to take hold during that time period, because again, the immune system is being used up to create immunity to this vaccine. So there's always a slight chance that they may get a cold as a result of having this vaccine done. In that case, simple antibiotics will clear it up. Also, you're going to notice that there's stickers on the vials. You're going to peel the sticker off. All the information you need, the vaccine is going to be on the sticker. You're going to put the sticker in your record under the vaccine parts. When you come pick up your kitten, you're going to have a sticker right there from the first vaccine. I haven't put it in there yet because I haven't vaccinated these kittens yet. But I'll peel the sticker off. I'll put it right in here. This is your proof. This is all the vet needs to be able to say, yes, this cat has been vaccinated. So please do not forget to put the sticker in there. Cannot stress that enough either. Otherwise, you basically did this all for naught, because without the stickers, the vets may give you an issue regarding whether or not this cat has been vaccinated. But of course, something to keep in mind, these vaccinations not required by law. These are completely 100% optional for you. And as an indoor cat, the risk of these issues, these viruses, very, very slim. So it's more for your comfort level than an actual necessary. So here's your feline record. The other issue that might happen because of the dewormer, some diarrhea, some vomiting. Because what the dewormer is designed to do is kill worms. And the worms are going to come out somehow. So sometimes the worms will come out in the stool as diarrhea. Sometimes they'll actually vomit some of the diarrhea. Not the diarrhea. Some of the worms. They might end up vomiting. So I do give 2 sheets for you to bring to your vet. That way your vet can know exactly what you're giving them. One sheet has got all the vaccine information, including the instructions, including the dates, including, please remember to peel the stickers off. And then here's the dewormer information. Okay, that's the dewormer you are using. This has got everything you need to know about it for your comfort, for your vet's comfort. So all this is backed up. Okay, moving on. So first, vet visit. Something for you to understand when you go to the vet. I do recommend that you bring your kitten to the vet within the first 72 hours so that you can establish a relationship with your vet and, you know, make sure that there is no issues and that you're completely happy. Also, your vet is going to bring up several options to you, and I go over all these options in great detail on the blog. So please, ladies and gentlemen, go to the blog, look at that. It's very long, very in-depth. I explain the reasoning behind everything. But basically, long story short, one of the options you're going to have is a feline leukemia and feline AIDS test. Now, I like to let you know that I'm happy to say every single breeding Bengal in this Cattery has been tested. They are all negative. I can happily present that information to any vet who wants to know. As a closed Cattery that has completely tested negative, there's absolutely no reason at all why any kitten should be positive. Furthermore, as an added level of protection, I made sure that my breeding Bengals were tested before I took them into my home, and that their Cattery was completely 100% tested and negative. So my breeding Bengals came from a completely negative Cattery, and they were tested, and now I have a negative Cattery. However, should you feel the need to have this test done, I recommend getting the SNAP test. The SNAP test is a quick and dirty screening that's done in the office. It's done because it's very cheap, and it's done 15 minutes. Problem with SNAP tests is when they're negative, you're all fine and dandy. When they're positive, you get all like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And SNAP tests are known to have an 80% false positive rate for many reasons. The definitive test is the PRA test. A little more expensive. They have to send the sample out to a lab, but is the definitive test, and that way you don't have to feel any unneeded anxiety at all. So that's my recommendation on that. These cats cannot stay off this table. As far as microchipping, I recommend that you wait to microchip your Bengal until they're under anesthesia, getting neutered, getting spayed, getting fixed. The microchip needle is very large. It is painful. That's why I don't microchip my poor 8-week-old kittens. So this should be done then. If you do plan on microchipping, I suggest not registering with TICA until you microchip, because if you try to register after you microchip, you can't add that microchip number in. So it's kind of inconvenient, but that's how it is. Okay, spay and neutering. You're required, if you're buying a pet kitten, to spay or neuter your kitten by 6 months of age. However, I highly encourage that you do this as early as possible. A lot of problem behaviors are all sexually driven. Spraying, marking, aggression, mood swings, just to name a few. These are all issues that come from becoming sexually mature. And so by fixing that problem ahead of time, you don't have to come to that bridge. There are a lot of non-profit organizations all over New England that will offer this low-cost spay and neuter that can be done for pennies on the dollar, along with the rabies vaccine, which I cannot provide, along with any other care that's needed. I know that in Connecticut, there's Every Animal Matters, and in Rhode Island, there is the Rhode Island Mobile Vet. Those again are on the block. And so in Connecticut, it's $75. Rhode Island, it's $80. There's New York City, which has TICA. Massachusetts has a few organizations too. So go to the blog, get those links, and that way you don't have to worry about, a high cost for that. Otherwise, those costs can actually be anywhere from $250 up to $450, depending upon where the vet's located, depending if they want to keep them overnight, if they want to give additional, testing, this, that, or the other. Okay, so now we're moving on to the breeder slip. You're going to get this. What this means is that I've already registered the litter in TICA. However, I did not register every single individual kitten, because you're going to determine what that kitten's name is, and you're going to be the owner. So it's your responsibility to go on to TICA.org, that's TICA.org, and you're going to get a free online account access. And if you don't see the registration option on the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to call up TICA, say, I'm trying to register my kitten, I need online registration access, at which point they will do that for you. You do not need to become a TICA member to actually register your cat. So you go onto that there, and you only need 2 numbers. I highlighted and circled the 2 numbers that you are going to need in order to register your Bengal. And at that point, you can put in the name of your cat. The very first part of the name of your cat officially is going to be my Cattery name. Okay, every cat that is registered, the first part is always which Cattery they come from, and then the name of your cat. And then here's the other information. You can always mail this out, but it's much faster if you do it online, almost instantaneous. Why do you want to do this? Well, a couple of reasons. One, it's cheap. It's only $13. But most importantly, this is a documentation proving that this cat is yours. Especially if you microchip your cat and your cat gets stolen, lost, whatever, ends up at a vet. The vet scans for a microchip, finds you. I mean, you can prove to them that this is your cat with TICA registration paperwork. It also proves your Bengal is a purebred with a documented pedigree that goes straight back to the original meeting with the ALC. Also, a lot of states, Connecticut including, does outlaw early generation Bengals, and therefore requires every Bengal to be registered with an actual organization with a proven pedigree to prove this is indeed not an early generation Bengal. So TICA registration for a lot of states is a must. Otherwise, they're considered illegal. You can go to hybridlaw.com. That's hybrid/law.com to get more information on that. Okay. Going over to Kitten Care Sheet. So when you came over to the house, you should have been given a Kitten Care Sheet. If you did not come over to the house, you could have easily found the Kitten Care Sheet on the computer. I do have it on there. This is very important pieces of information. You're going to get it again in your paperwork with the dates of the vaccinations again. So they're listed on here. They're listed on the vaccine information, the dates, and they're also listed on the actual baggies themselves. So over it, I go over litter box issues, I go over food, I go over litter, I go over all of that. So one of the biggest things that I want to stress is health, cat health. You're buying this kitten, you're paying a good amount of money for this quality kitten you're going to have for 14 to 18 years. If you want those years to be quality years spent with you, where you're not rushing them to the vet and getting them on this medication and that medication because of health issues, then the best way to do that is prevent health issues from day one. So the best way to prevent health issues from day one is know what are cats susceptible to as far as health problems go, and how can you prevent this. So number one issue with cats, their respiratory system. Their respiratory system is the weakest part of their body, which is why a lot of the viruses that attack cats are all respiratory viruses, which is why having an intranasal vaccine that goes in the respiratory system is so good, because you're building the immunity up right where it needs to be, in that respiratory tract, right where they're going to get this virus coming into their body. So the respiratory system is something that is going to be an ongoing issue for a cat. You know, they're going to get colds, they're going to need to get antibiotics, but a good way to help with immunity and respiratory health is supplements. And I'm going to go over supplements again later. But the last issue is chronic dehydration. I can't stress this enough. A lot of problems that come later on down the road, 5 years, 10 years down the road, they're kidney issues, liver issues, kidney stones, and urinary tract infections, urinary issues, all of it related to chronic dehydration. Now, most people don't realize, but Bengals are obligate carnivores. These guys are having evolutionary roots. These guys are only 20 generations removed from the Asian leopard cat. So their instincts are still very strong. And obligate carnivores instinctually know that the water sources, you know, pools, rivers, whatever, that is a prime spot for carnivores to hunt your butt down and eat you. So you don't want to be eaten. You don't drink unless you absolutely have to. So where do these guys get most of their liquid? From their diet, from their kill. If you think about all the fluids that come from a kill, the blood, the lymph node, all of that, this can hydrate them. This can keep them going for a long period of time. So they're not going to have a high thirst drive. They're going to have a low thirst drive. They're not going to drink as often as they should drink. So you need to make sure that you are keeping hydration goal number one from day one. And how are you going to do that? Well, first off, you're going to help that with their food. So they need liquid in their food. This is what they're, trained to do from nature. So you're going to increase that liquid through wet food. Wet food is essential every single day. Dry food's not essential. Dry food is a great food to have around all the time. It doesn't spoil. Dry food's also great because it's for tartar control. It will scrape stuff off the teeth. But otherwise, dry food, not hydrating. Not helping at all. Wet food is going to be what's going to hydrate them. So you need wet food every day. You need to increase the hydration of the wet food by adding water. You can add water. You can add other fluids like egg. You can beat up an egg, throw it in there. You can have a beat up egg all by itself and they can just drink that down, which is great for their coat. It's pure liquid and pure protein in liquid form. The other thing that you can do is broth. You can add broth. Beef broth, chicken broth, turkey broth. I tend to find that my Bengals personally like turkey broth more. And so you can, again, and the great thing about turkey broth is it has a lot of fat in it. And please do not worry about your Bengals getting fat. They have a higher metabolism than other breeds. They require more fat, more energy. They have more muscle. They're more active. They need this. Never get indoor food. Just get food that's got high quality protein and fat. And so that's very important. So adding that broth really helps out with that. And then I also throw in a bunch of supplements in the wet food along with this liquid. I mix it up and I leave it out all day long. Don't take it away from them. They need to have it out all day. They're going to nibble on it, go away, play, come back, nibble on it, and that's how it is. So don't be concerned if your kitten eats a lot of wet food in the beginning. Wet food is a lot easier to eat than dry food. They got these tiny little teeth. Dry food hurts trying to chomp it down. One way to help out with that, throw the dry food in a blender. Chop it up. That will help them eat the dry food a little bit more. But in the beginning, they're going to eat more wet food. As time goes on, they'll balance it out eating dry and wet food. So you're going to get 2 cans to go home with you in your kitten care package. It will last only 2 days. That's right. That little itty bitty kitten that's sitting on your lap right now is going to eat a whole one of these in one day. As they get bigger, they can still eat one of these in a day, only they're going to be eating more dry food. So this is going to be most of what they eat with a little bit of dry food. As they get bigger, this is going to be about half of what they eat, plus half dry food. So, and plus don't forget to add that liquid, make it bigger, bulkier. Yeah. So I got a list here of things I'm going over to make sure that I don't forget. And so another way of increasing hydration, water fountains. I cannot stress this enough. It goes right back to nature. In nature, you get a pond of stagnant water, and animals are going to avoid it like the plague. Because we're talking fungus, algae, viruses. Who knows what's sitting in that stagnant water? Now, bring them to a fresh brook with nice running water, nice nutrient-rich, mineral-rich water. They're going to lap that up no problem. Statistically speaking, animals will drink more if it's from a water fountain. Okay? All you have to do is turn on the tap water to figure that one out. So, again, water fountains are great. The only downside with water fountains is the maintenance. They come with a filter. Sure, great, dandy. That filter is actually a trap. It's a money trap because you have to keep buying it, but it's actually another kind of trap. It traps hair. It traps food. It traps stuff that you just can't clean out. You cannot officially clean out a filter. So throw that filter away. Instead, I use filtered water. It's already filtered. You don't need a filter if you're filtering it. So, plus it keeps the water fresher, tastes fresher longer. They're not going to want to go to the toilet bowl if you got nice fresh water in your water fountain. So my say is throw out the filter, use filtered water. And then you have the motor component. The motor component can get clogged. So once a week or once every other week, it's simple. You pull the motor cap off, you clean it out of the guck, wipe off the grime, put it back together, you're good to go. As long as you keep doing that, that motor should last indefinitely almost. So yeah, I say that water fountains are a great thing to have. Keep your water at least a foot or two away from your dry food. That water will end up ruining your dry food. Wet food, not an issue. Dry food, keep it away, okay? Close by, but not that close, 1 to 2 feet. The other thing too is water stations. That whole adage, out of sight, out of mind. The more areas in your house that you have water available, the more often your Bengal will drink. So I like to use what I call areas of opportunity. When I go to the bathroom, a lot of times my Bengals, they're like a pack of girls. They're all coming in the bathroom with me, socializing. Hey, how you doing? How's your hair doing? I like your nails, whatever. But they're coming in the bathroom with me, and I'm like, great, this is an opportunity. I have a sink right next to me. I have a bowl. I can fill it up with some nice fresh water and put it on the ground, and they'll lap that out. So that's an opportunity that they're drinking more that they wouldn't have had I not done it. So have a bowl of water in the bathroom with you, because most likely your Bengal's going to want to do the same thing and run in there with you. Anywhere your Bengal likes to hang out, have some water. The more places you have water available, the more they'll drink. So these are all ways to increase hydration, and this will help go a long way to prevent any kind of issues and keep their coat nice and silky smooth and their health working great. As is, a lot of research shows that we humans, we don't even drink enough water. We're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day anyway. So, you know, we're walking around with chronic dehydration as well. But let's try not to have the Bengal have the same problem. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about food. Wet food, dry food. So there's a lot of brands out there. The only thing I asked, grain-free. Why grain-free? Because again, Bengals are obligate carnivores. They are not supposed to be eating anything but protein. That's what their diet's set up for. Why do they throw grain in cat food? I have no clue. Other than the fact that it's a filler. It's designed to make the food cheaper. Less putting in protein, it lowers the cost, makes it more appealing to other people, you know, and so that's what they do. Problem is, they're not getting what they need. So you're paying less money for this cheap food that's filled with grain that they can't use, they can't digest it, and so they're going to eat more. They're going to need more because they're not getting what they need. So you're just going to have to buy more of this cheap food. Is it really saving you money if you're buying more of a cheap food versus buying a high quality food that they're going to need less of because they're getting what they need? Now, you know, animals eat according to their dietary needs. If there's a fat animal, there's usually 2 reasons behind it. One is because food was made so scarce that they're going to like hog it down and eat it. Whether they're hungry or not, they're going to eat it because they don't know when they're going to get it again. Leaving food all out all day, every day is going to help prevent that scarcity issue. They're not going to feel the need to gorge just because it's so scarce. So that helps take care of that problem. Another reason for a fat cat or a fat animal is because they're not getting what they need. There's something missing from the diet. So they're going to feel a need to eat. Also, dehydration has been known to make you feel hungry. Even in us. If we're dehydrated, we're going to think we're hungry. We're not. We're just dehydrated. But as long as you keep your Bengal hydrated, that should also not be an issue too. But so a high quality food is definitely what you need. Grain-free. And naturally grain-free usually means high in protein. So there's a lot of brands out there. You can use any particular brand. Again, they're going to say grain-free rate on it. It should not be a mystery. You should not have to wonder, is this a grain-free product? They're going to have it all over the packaging. They're going to state it boldly for you. So There's Wellness, which is a great product. There's Evo, the evolutionary diet. But what I really like to do is I like these big cans. I feel like these big cans are much more economical. You're getting more food. And I'll have half a can a day for each cat. And having a Cattery as big as mine, this saves me the most amount of money. You can always cap it, put it in the refrigerator. So this would be 2 days worth for you guys. Unless you have 2 cats, then that's 1 day's worth. But again, you can get this on Amazon. Okay, you can go to a regular pet store and they have some of these big cans, but the selection, very slim, very, very slim. So go on Amazon and you'll have a better chance there. This is Wellness, the big can, and then there's the Holistic Select. Again, you'll see grain-free, proudly stated right on the label, and then along with that, again, grain-free, proudly stated right on the label. Now, something that should be a smart thing for you to do is you're going to become a professional label reader. You want to look at the ingredients. The first 4 ingredients should be all meat products, different meat products, okay? And one of the things that you're going to notice, depressingly so, chicken, it happens to be the filler meat. Doesn't matter what the packaging says. It could say turkey, it can say duck, pheasant, doesn't matter. There's usually chicken in it somewhere. You don't know how much turkey or whatever else you're getting, but there's going to be chicken there. Chicken is the filler meat. It's cheap. They put it in everything. So why is that a bad thing? Well, because over time, having so much chicken in the diet, I mean, you know, think about, Forrest Gump and that whole shrimp thing. Shrimp this, shrimp that. Well, think of that chicken form. Chicken this, chicken that, chicken liver, chicken broth, chicken. You have so much chicken in all these products, eventually your cat may develop an allergy. An allergy to chicken. It's not unheard of. It's becoming more popular, these food allergies, okay? And it's great for the food company because, you know, they're profiting off the fact they're making their food cheaper with chicken, but they're also profiting off of the fact that once your cat has an allergy, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go to the store and you're going to buy the hypoallergenic food, which now they can just ram that price right up there because you have no choice. You got to buy it. So they're going to take advantage of that and they're going to make you buy this hypoallergenic food because now they're allergic to chicken. And how are you going to tell your cat's allergic to chicken? Because a lot of allergies will present itself by loss of hair. They'll overgroom themselves. They'll bite themselves because this allergy is making them super itchy. So that's a very common sign of an allergy, either an environmental allergy or food allergy. Again, I have a blog that concentrates all on cat allergies, okay? And the best way to avoid a chicken allergy from the overuse of chicken, well, I say right from the get-go, every once in a while you should buy what's called a limited ingredient diet. What limited ingredient diet means, 1 protein source, 1 grain source. It helps with cats that have allergies. Does it cost a lot? Well, it doesn't cost as much as those hyperallergenic diets do. I'll tell you that. It costs a little bit more because, again, they're not putting chicken in it. So it's going to cost a little bit more, but it's not significantly higher. But doing that once in a while will help lower how much exposure your cat is getting to chicken. And hopefully it will help to lower any chances of having a chicken allergy later on in life. So if you want to help prevent that from happening, limited ingredient diets are great for that. We started, by the way, just a little side note, we started to feed your Bengal wet food with baby food. That's right, normal Joe Schmo Gerbers or beech nut baby food. Pure meat, minced up, very potent. No fillers, nothing else. So your Bengal kittens love this stuff. Eat it up, it's a great treat. So if you want them to try a new food, that they're not so, I don't know about this, this is new food, you can put some of this on it. And then they might end up trying out that new food. It's kind of like the bait and switch. You know, if your cat's not feeling well, kind of sickly, this would be a good thing. They'll eat this. So that's good to know. So along with the wet food, let's talk about the dry food. over here we have our dry food area. So I use a lot of different brands. I don't know about you, but there's a myth out there. If you use different brands, your cat's going to have dietary upset. Well, that's a myth. That's a myth perpetuated by the food companies because they don't want you to switch. But if you think about it, in nature, where are animals getting their food sources? All over the place. They need to acquire their food all over. So their dietary system should be designed to take all kinds of different food. So you have solid gold, holistic food, okay, turkey, brown rice, here is the solid gold, and you'll see that's quail and pumpkin. If you notice, it's down here, grain and gluten-free. Okay, so it was a little hidden, but it's right there. Same thing with the other products. Okay, perfect bistro. Now, should you buy kitten food? Question mark, question mark. Answer is sure. Why not? What does kitten food have that this other food doesn't have? More fat. Kitten food has the most fat there is. This will help your Bengal grow quicker. Does it cost more? Sure. But they're getting more of what they need. You can also get what's called all life stage food. What all life stage food is, it's designed for kittens and it's designed for adults. It's kind of in the middle of the road when it regards to fat. Not as much, it doesn't have as much fat as kitten food, but it's got enough that kittens aren't going to starve to death. Now, you don't want to get indoor. Indoor means that this is the laziest, most inactive cat, and it needs hardly any calories. So it's got the lowest amount of fat, lowest amount of calories. Stay away from it. Bengals are not indoor cats. They're indoor, but they're not acting like they're indoor. They're acting like they're going around, running around, exploring everything. So stay away from the indoor. You can use all life stages. You can use kitten. Kitten is good for the first year. Okay, if you want them to get to their maximum weight, maximum potential, you can stick with kitten food. That's just fine. You can also do life stages. Now, there's various versions of kitten food, by the way, but again, you need to make sure it says grain-free. Okay, there's a lot of other versions, but they need to say grain-free. Here's Blue Buffalo. You know Blue Buffalo. It's a good product. Blue Buffalo has a basic limited ingredient. That's why I like basics. So whenever you see the word basic, immediately you know it's limited ingredient because it's going right back to basic food. One protein. So this particular thing is limited ingredient and it's turkey. Again, limited ingredient. Can you make this any bigger? I don't think so. And this says grain-free. And that's turkey as well. So it costs just a little bit more, but it will really help prevent any allergies later on. And again, you don't have to stick with just a limited ingredient diet, but I would say 25% limited ingredient, 75% anything else. That's a good combination. I also have Blue Wilderness. So again, Blue Buffalo does the basics, which is the limited ingredient. This is the not limited ingredient one. So this is Blue Buffalo. Again, you're going to see high protein, grain-free. So the Wilderness version has the high protein, grain-free. Blue Buffalo does make other kinds of food, will not say Wilderness, and it's not grain-free. So be aware. And here this is with red meat. This is with duck. Now I want you to notice it does say adult, which means it's not going to have as much fat as a kitten food, and it will not have as much fat as the all life stage food. So this has got the least amount of fat minus the indoor formula. The indoor formula by far has got the least amount. But this has got a lower amount. So this is for your kitten when they're 12 months old or older. That is when they're considered an adult, is when they're 12 months old. It only was that easy for us. Take a 1-year-old child. All right, you're adult, you're on your own. Have a good life. So here is Nature's Variety Instinct grain-free, limited ingredient. So I just showed you the various versions of limited ingredient, and they have like rabbit and pheasant and all kinds of different stuff. So that is on the dry food. Dry food, you want to leave it out all day long in a gravity-fed container. It's a big container. You just fill it up, and you're good for like a week. You can go on vacation for like a week, whatever, how long that takes for that to empty out. So, along with the dry food and the wet food, we're going to talk about supplements, okay? Because you want to add some supplements into your wet food. Now, why do you want to pay extra money to buy supplements? Because again, it comes back to prevention. An ounce of prevention is better than any cure. Do you want to pay a little bit now, or do you want to pay a lot in vet fees later? Not only that, but you know, you're falling in love with this animal that's going to be your companion. You really don't want to see it suffer because of complications later on. So you're trying to help prevent that from happening. Plus, ultimately, the other way to look at it is these supplements should help lower how much food they're eating, which again lowers how much waste you're scooping out of that litter box. Look at that, 2-for-1 deal. So you definitely want to give them everything that they need, and then they won't have to eat a whole lot. So yes, you're paying a little bit more in supplement. Hopefully you're paying a little less in that high quality food. So in the end, hopefully it equals out. So these are all the supplements. Yes, there's a lot. I will go over them, and I will explain to you what each one's for. You are going to get a magazine from Revival Animal Health. This magazine will be included in your kitten care package. And in it is mostly every supplement that I use, and then some. You could always take a look at it and see what other supplements you want. So one of the supplements we're going to talk about is, I marked these all, so give me 1 second. Okay. We're going to talk about Fortical. So here's Fortical. Fortical can come in a big gallon. Stores very well. Comes in this. Why does she have Fortical? Fortical means it's a highly dense liquid with lots and lots of calorie. So in other words, in one tiny little syringe can be like a whole meal's worth right there. This is really good in instances where your cat is sick. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Ensure product, but when your child is sick and they're not eating a whole lot, you give them Ensure. It's kind of like the same thing. It's how it operates, because you still want them to keep that weight up. If their weight's decreasing because they're sick, it's only going to make them sick longer. They won't be able to fight off what they're needing to fight off. So it's a good product to have. We, on the other hand, like to use this product on our pregnant girls when they're in labor. This helps to shorten labor. It gives them a burst of energy so that they can get through labor. It also helps with any runts. If we have any runts in the litter, we will give that to them to help pump them up. Now, we also use a lysine. Okay? In this magazine, they do not have the lysine that we actually use. It's from Revival. It's Thomas Labs Feel-O Lysine. Now, lysine is good for two things. It's good for the respiratory system. Again, respiratory system, very weak in cats. So this is very good to have to support that. It also is it's an amino acid. It's very essential, and it's also known to help with the immune system and eye health as well. So it helps them be able to boost their immune system so they can fight off a lot of different things. So think of it as an immunity booster. So again, this is a product that I get from Revival Animal Health. Now, calcium. Revival Animal Health has calcium products, but I like to get my calcium product from Amazon. Yes, I am not completely super loyal to Revival Animal. I get my products where I need to get them. Revival's a really great place, but again, I get this bone meal. Pure and simple, natural calcium supplement, bone meal. Taken right from nature. Think about it. That's how your animals are getting their calcium in nature, right from bone. So, it's just following along with what nature intended. And this is a really good product to have until your Bengals reach full maturity. Bengals take longer to grow. Girls can take up to 2 years. Boys, because they always take longer in everything. You know that, girls. They can take up to 3 years to get to their full size. So if anything, you should at least give them some sort of calcium support until they're in fact, 2 or 3, depending upon gender. Oh, I lost my placement. I knew I needed sticky notes. All right, so another thing that I consider to be very, very important, I even starred it. See, look, star means very important, is the daily care. Now, daily care is exactly what it says. It's a supplement meant to be used every single day. It has 30, yes, that's a lot, 30 different vitamins and minerals. But on top of that, it also has a lot of omega fatty acids. Yes, fancy name for saying fish oil. It's got fish oil in it. Fish oil is great for cardiovascular health, but it's also really good for their coat. Helps make it silky smooth. So this product really has it all. If your wet food or dry food is lacking anything, this will help make up for it, and then some. I like to say that the biggest reason why we have such big litters, big kittens, easy births, is because of all this crap that we use. Okay? So that's daily care. Here's Absorb More. What does Absorb More do? Well, I think the name speaks for itself. Absorb More is 14 different plant enzymes that are designed to break the food down in the gut even more than it would have. Okay? So without this product, you'd be absorbing, I don't know, let's say 40% of what you're eating. With this product, you'll be absorbing 60% of what you're eating. Which again, you know what that equals? Less waste. Less litter box cleanup. How good is that? So if you're absorbing more, you need to feed less. So it's a good product. So if there's two things I can recommend, daily care, Absorb More. And the other thing that's really cool about Absorb More is since it's plant derived, this means if your Bengal kitten ever has to go on antibiotics, antibiotics are notorious for wiping out good gut bacteria. It kills the bad, it kills the good too, which means diarrhea. And the problem with that is they're getting dehydrated with this diarrhea. They're not absorbing as much of their food with this diarrhea. Well, if you're going with a plant enzyme, that plant enzyme is not going to get affected by antibiotics. It's going to continue working. So it's going to help prevent that diarrhea, hence prevent dehydration, but it's also going to help them still take in more food, which again helps them get over whatever they need to get over, because it's giving them that energy that they need. So I really like the fact that antibiotics are not going to impact this. Honestly, probiotics, it's useless when you're on antibiotics because you're killing off whatever good bacteria you're trying to start. However, towards the end of antibiotics, probiotics, very important. You can use probiotics every day, but probiotics is extremely important after antibiotics because you have a very clean gut. And what does that mean? Now that you've cleared it out, bad bacteria can move right back in. You're starting right from scratch. I don't think you want to do that. So you need to build up this good colonization of bacteria. Helps with digestive health, helps with food absorption, helps prevent diarrhea, all that stuff. You need this good bacteria. And that's what this does. It helps to grow good bacteria. But the reason why it's called GI Symbiotics is because it has some stuff in it that helps to prevent bad bacteria as well. Although that's kind of the job of the good bacteria too. They're supposed to outcompete the bad bacteria if they're doing their job right. So, which is why it's important to have a lot of good bacteria. If you don't have a lot of good bacteria, they're not going to be able to do their job right. You're giving your cat a small army. You need a bigger army. Get rid of that bad bacteria. So anyway, your kitten care package is going to include a baggie of supplements. And check it out. I actually list all the supplements I use so that you yourself can go and buy all those supplements and become just as poor as me. Anyway, but yeah, so included in this baggie is probiotics. Now, I use this for you guys, but I recently started trying to incorporate this. This is also probiotic. However, it goes right in the water. So that's one less thing to put in your wet food. But that goes right in the water, they drink it. The reason why I like this is because it's a very fast-acting probiotic. It's got more microbes in it than this does. Plus it has a catalyst. And what that catalyst does is it helps the growth of the good bacteria faster. And that is really good when you've got a sterile gut and you need to fill it up really quick. If you're just maintaining, that's one thing. If you need to start from scratch and grow a whole army of good bacteria, you need it to be fast. So there you go, fast acting. Goes right in the water. Okay, and of course I could not include this beautiful gem in your package because it's liquid. So I could not include it. But you squirt this. It actually lasts a really long time because you're only putting a few drops in your liquid. Now the reason why Be Strong is great is because it's the whole B complement of vitamins. And the B complement of vitamins are known for one thing, metabolism. You don't have the vitamins to create your metabolism hormones that are needed to break everything down and use it for energy. Your metabolism's not working right. Your metabolism is going to be sluggish, and it's not going to be able to pull the energy as much. And you know that's even true for people. A lot of times if you go see somebody about weight loss, or you see a nutritionist, they're going to say, get on a B supplement. Help yourself out. Get on a B supplement and you'll be able to burn food better. And the same thing applies to the Bengal cats. If you want to burn food better, this is the way to do it. Matter of fact, I give vitamin B12 injections at certain times to help boost the metabolism and help build good bacteria. Because the digestive tract is where you absorb everything, and if you don't have a good digestive tract, you're not going to be absorbing the vitamins and minerals that you need. This is why this is kind of like all related, you know. This nice 30 vitamins and minerals in the litter box, down the drain, all for nothing if the body's not absorbing it. And the body can't absorb it if there's no good gut bacteria. Hence, probiotics, hence vitamin B injections, which help start the process. And once you got that good bacteria, all of this, they come into play. But they can't come into play until you can actually absorb it. So there you go, folks. We got Be Strong, we got Absorb More, we got lysine, we got bone meal, we got daily care, we got probiotics. Yes, all that's included, minus the liquid. Sorry. Bye-bye. All this is included in your little baggie. This will last you for 1 to 2 weeks. That will give you plenty of time to purchase your own. Again, the list is right on the baggie, so there should be no questions. And it's on Revival Animal, except for this. This is on Amazon. Sorry, I like you better. And here's the Fortical. See, I really like Fortical. I got it in a gallon. And so I actually hate taking a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of this and putting it in wet food every single time. I'm all about streamlining the process here. This is why I'm making this video. I'm streamlining the process. So what do? Oh God, this is heavy. I take a really big bin, just like this, and I put in the right amount. I know that I need twice as much as this, then this, so I put in 2 of this, 1 of this, and so on. I keep the proportions the same, and then you take a whisk, and you spin forever. You're going to want to watch something on TV. This is kind of boring. You just keep mixing it. Yes, I have just put this together. I have to mix it up. Guess why? I'm creating baggies for all of you guys. So I'm creating a whole bunch of baggies. So this batch here, this is for you. Take a look at it. You're going to be seeing it soon. So yeah, I'm mixing all this together. It's annoying, but then you end up getting one of these scoops. You just need a tablespoon. That's basically about a tablespoon. You get a scoop like that. It's got all that stuff in it. And you put it in the wet food. And as long as you're adding enough water in the wet food, it's not an issue. Now, will your cats mind that all this crap is in their wet food? They won't know, because we're already doing it. Yes, right from the get-go, we're putting this in their wet food, so they don't know any better. Mm-hmm. Make sure that stays that way. As long as you keep this up, they won't know any better. There you go. Pretty heavy, actually. And so, moving on. Oh, by the way, side note, yes, we like to treat our queens like queens and our studs like kings. So we even have these Oxymate prenatal vitamins.
Sausages.
We have postnatal vitamins. They look like sausages. We're going to eat them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we give these to our queens. Big, robust litters. Thank you very much. And we even have postnatal vitamins, help them bounce back so they don't look all emaciated. Mm-hmm. And then here we go. This is the stud. This is for our studs so they can be all nice and big and powerful and, you know, impress you guys with their muscles. So we like to treat them to a little extra on top of all that. Yeah, I feel it makes a difference. Okay, so moving on, we talked about wet food, dry food. We talked about supplements in the magazines. Let's talk about the litter box. I bet you guys are just waiting for this section, huh? So, your kittens are going to come litter box trained. Yes, by 8 weeks. We imagine that we've done it. We've litter box trained them. We've used this to help us. This is Kitten Attract. Very wonderful stuff. It's got like catnip basically in it. It makes them super interested. Matter of fact, they just like to play in it all day long, at least in the beginning when it's like novel. Yeah, they're playing it like it's a big sandbox. They're hiding all kinds of things in it. And yes, they even try to eat it. It's kind of gross. But yeah, so this is Kitten Attract. This will help you. This is going to be your best friend for the first month. So after you get your kitten, you're going to want this for the first month. Okay? And then you can transition them to a different litter. But for the first month, you definitely need this. This is going to help you retrain them, because keep in mind, they're used to the litter box in our house, where we have it. They're going to a brand new place. They don't know where anything is. They're going to need help to get to it, and this will help them. So this is going to help train them in your home. And after that month is over, you can knock it and get rid of it. If you ever have any issues again, you can come back to it. It helps. So what do I recommend to replace that once you're done? An all-natural litter. And while there's a lot of all-natural litters out there, like pine, which is pretty messy, this is the one that I recommend the most. The name kind of says it all, really. World's Best Cat Litter. Now the reason why this is the world's best cat litter is because it uses corn. Corn is easily, you can eat it, and it's not an issue. And so it's also easily absorbable. And because of that, you can have it naturally absorb the waste, and it helps with the smell. Okay, so it helps with clumping. Shouldn't break apart. Now there's a lot of products on the market that have just corn. Problem is, just corn is kind of light. Just corn can just like fly everywhere and get everywhere. This has the added benefit of corn plus plant fiber. The plant fiber helps it absorb even more. That's what puts multi-cat in this, is because it's got plant fiber. As well as it helps hold the clumps together more so they don't fall apart. But lastly, it makes it a little bit heavier. Yes, this is a pretty heavy bag. And so because it makes it heavier, it's less likely to go flying out of the litter box. So this literally is the world's best cat litter. I like to get the lavender scented. Now, not all the stores actually carry lavender scented. I know Petco does and PetSmart does not. I don't know why they don't. But lavender is really cool because it's natural oil. It helps it smell better. Do you think the cat's mind? Probably not, because think about it. Natural lavender is what you use to bathe babies in to help them go to sleep. It's very relaxing. So they don't mind it at all. So this is what I recommend for litter. Keep the litter box close initially. Okay? Now remember, these are like kids. They're playing, and then all of a sudden, like, oh no, they're gonna go. And they're gonna run. And if they have to run far, they're gonna find the nearest spot. Sorry, they are. They're kittens. So get your litter box close by. As they get older, you can move that litter box further and further and further away. Okay? If you start noticing an issue, bring the litter box back. Make the space smaller until they're able to, have you move it away. But that's basically what you need to keep doing. And if you have any issues, that's what this is. Dr. Elsley Litter Box Solutions. Because at some point in time, every cat may have a problem. And this will help you. Why do they have a problem? How to fix it. Because you don't know how to fix it if you don't know why they have a problem. So that really covers everything. Now don't forget, you need to have stimulation for your cat. Okay, especially if you don't have any other pets. If this one cat's all by itself, boredom does a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with boredom. Bored Bengals, they get into everything. Knock things over, play with things, break them, watch the parts go everywhere. So, boredom, not a good thing. Cat wheel, Very good idea. onefastcat.com. That's O-N-E fastcat.com. Cheapest cat wheel I know, $250, free shipping. And of course, you're going to want to do a cat tree. Cat trees have irresistible sisal posts, which means they're not scratching the heck out of your furniture. They're scratching the heck out of that. They're beating that up, which is fine. You just keep replacing it with the sisal. You'll notice the old sisal and the new sisal. I had to re-sisal that post right there because they eat the crap out of it. That's fine. So the new sisal post is thicker, it will last longer. So as long as you give them something to scratch, they should leave your furniture alone. So yeah, and lastly, you're going to have a copy of your contract because this is all-inclusive paperwork, all in one spot for you. Put it somewhere safe. You'll have a copy of that all together. And in some cases, you're going to have a 5-generation pedigree because BengalPedigrees.com rocks. And all my cats except Mystique and Sahara are on the Bengal Pedigrees website, which means I can easily create a 5-generation pedigree of your kitten as long as they're coming from the other queens. If Sahara or Mystique is the queen and you want a pedigree, I would have to photocopy the TICA pedigree from the parents, but I wouldn't be able to generate a pretty 5-generation pedigree like this. So that might be included as well. And that concludes everything. In a later education series, I'm going to go over how to introduce your Bengal kitten to your new home, and if you have a pet in your home already, how to introduce your Bengal kitten to your new pet. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening, and I'm so happy that you got a Bengal kitten. I can't wait to see you soon.